It's Kelsey
and Kendra,
and today we have a special guest with us, and it's our mom.
Hello.
And we're going to be doing something we've never done before here on our channel. We're going to be having a mom and daughter conversation about tampons.
and we're just going to be talking about how moms can be a little reluctant about having their daughters use tampons without having all the facts. So we're going to be giving you all the facts today. But before we get started, we want to thank Tampax so much for partnering with us on this video
And providing the facts to set the record straight with the help of Girology's Dr. Melissa Holmes. Okay, Mom. So why did you let us use tampons when we first got our period?
To be honest with you, when you guys first got your periods, I was devastated. I was
Devastated?
Yes.
So
I was
dramatic.
floored because you guys were so young.
Yeah.
And I wasn't ready, to be
Mhm.
honest with you.
Mhm.
And when you guys first got your periods, you were really young, and I was like, no, not my babies.
Yeah, we were a little bit younger than the average age to get your period.
Yes.
and younger than you were when you got yours.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, you were. So I mentally I had to prepare for that. The last thing I was thinking about was talking to you guys about tampons, using tampons. So I was just, I was just really nervous at the time.
Do you want to add
Yeah.
how old we were, just in case people
You
are
guys
curious?
were 10 years old when you first got your period.
Yeah, I was 10. I think you were actually
They were 10
9.
years old when they first got their period.
She was 9, about to turn 10. And I
9
was
and a
10.
half.
Yeah.
I got mine a month before Kelsey.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on another note, the reason I didn't talk to you two about using tampons is because I wasn't even using tampons myself. And I couldn't fully educate you on something that I wasn't educated on.
Yeah, that's true.
We've always, we've talked about everything. There was nothing ever too big or too small to teach you to. But if I didn't know myself, how could I teach you all this?
That's true.
That's one of the reasons why me teaching you how to use tampons, it didn't even cross my mind at the time. I just wasn't ready, for you all to, enter that next phase of life.
So what fears did you have about tampons?
The fear that I had about tampons was that they were uncomfortable. And that was instilled in me by my mom. My mom always thought of tampons being uncomfortable, and until this day she still does. You have to realize that way back in the day, they were fairly new, and they weren't widely used at that time. And so it was fairly new, and
Yeah, that's true.
a lot of women just didn't feel comfortable with manually inserting a tampon. And again, it just wasn't the thing to do at that time. So most women at that time wore pads, and they had to wear this thing called like a sanitary belt.
What?
Yeah, they had to wear it to hold the pad in place.
Wow.
So that was back in the day. So it just tampons
That sounds so
were,
uncomfortable.
again, they were new, and they just weren't accustomed to wearing tampons at that time. Grandma never felt comfortable with talking to me openly about things such as periods and tampons. She always felt uncomfortable actually speaking with me about stuff like that.
So you just had to figure it out for
A
yourself?
lot of times I actually did, yeah.
Oh.
I really did. So when I first got my period, the only thing Grandma said to me was, "You're a little missy now." And I was like, okay.
A little missy.
That was it. I'm like, what is a little missy? What does that mean? What does that even mean?
Yeah.
So it wasn't a whole lot of elaborations. Now, of course, she did talk to me about using pads and, being sanitary and that type of thing. But a lot of things she just didn't speak with me openly about. And I wanted to make sure that my relationship with you two was actually a little bit different, and a little closer and open. Again, I'll reiterate, you guys have always known that you could come and talk to me about anything, no matter what it was.
It's true.
So did you ever do your own research about tampons before using them?
Yes, eventually I did. And then also, my niece Kia would always go on and on about how much more convenient and how how much better it was to wear tampons. And how much she felt that it made her feel cleaner as opposed to wearing a pad.
Yeah, that's how I felt too. I agree with her with
It
that.
made her feel cleaner. So she eventually convinced me to wear a tampon. And so I did further research, and I found that there are 2 different types of tampons. You have one that has the cardboard applicator. Why are you looking like that?
Because it sounds painful. No, that does not sound.
Yeah,
Like
one is a cardboard applicator, and the other one has a plastic.
Yeah, the
applicator.
plastic applicator.
And the very first one that I tried was the cardboard applicator, and I was like, I don't want to use tampons.
That sounds like it will push you further away from using tampons.
Yeah, it wasn't, the application was not very smooth, I would just say
Why
that.
did you go with the cardboard applicator?
Because, the cardboard was cheaper.
I'm pretty sure.
Always
it was.
being cheap.
Yeah,
Always being cheap.
So I called Kia and I was like, this crap is uncomfortable. I said, the advice you've been giving me is not correct. And she was like, well, which one did you get? Did you get the one with the plastic?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no. And she said, you're supposed to get the one with the plastic applicator.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
That's what she was using.
Yeah.
correct. That's the one she was using.
Yeah.
I used the ones with the plastic applicator, and it was so much better than the
Mhm.
cardboard.
It's like 90 day.
It was like night and day. And ever since then, I've been wearing tampons.
Mhm.
And I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
And once I actually started wearing them, I felt like so accomplished
Mm-hmm.
because I had broken that fear that was instilled in me by my mom
Yeah.
about, them being so uncomfortable and,
Mhm.
and I felt really proud of myself.
Mhm.
And as a result of that, I was able to teach you all.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And because I then knew how to use them.
Yeah.
And again, I wanted to make sure anytime I taught you guys something that I was fully educated on it, based on my own experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I felt, really good about that. And I always say experience is the best teacher. So do y'all remember when I taught you all how to use a tampon?
I remember.
Yes,
it was
we
a
did. Mm-hmm.
very brief tampon tutorial. I thought it was going to be a lot more extensive because I was getting anxiety thinking about putting one,
Yeah.
inserting one.
Yeah.
And
And
I
for a long
remember
time, I
the
wanted
one
to learn how to use it.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
We decided together. We were
Yes.
like, okay, our
Mhm.
next period, because our periods came on at the same time.
Mhm.
And I said, our next period, we're going to ask Mama how to put on
Put
a
'em on.
tampon because we knew
Yeah.
you were wearing them then.
Right.
And I was just getting really annoyed with the pads because I just did not feel as clean as I could.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
going through so many throughout the day, and I was
Yeah.
just like, okay,
Mhm.
it's time to switch to tampons.
Yeah.
So it was like
Yeah.
right before we moved here to Georgia. I think we were, what, 19?
We were like 19.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I was like, Kelsey, we're gonna learn how to use tampons today. And like we just
Yeah.
instantly went to your room and we're like, Ma, can you teach us how to put on a tampon?
Yeah, and then you came in our room,
Yeah.
and then we all stood around the bed.
Yeah.
We stood in a circle.
A circle. It was like, okay, we're gonna all do it together at the same time.
Yeah.
If you picture this, you're probably like, what in the world is going
Yeah.
on?
Yeah.
But we're all
Yeah.
standing there.
It's a very intimate moment.
Yes,
Yeah.
standing
Hey,
there.
a mother has to do what a mother has to do.
So we're all
I'm
standing
just
there, and we just put it in. You was like,
Yeah.
okay, just push the applicator
Yeah,
in
and then
pull
you
it
like
out.
counted down. You were like, we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Count to three.
Yes.
And then when I
heard
did
that.
it, I kind of feel like what you said. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I feel so
I
accomplished.
know, it was like a whole new world
Yeah.
when I discovered tampons
Yeah.
and like how much more convenient and more clean they were.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I just felt more clean.
Yeah.
Yes.
when I
Yeah.
started
As opposed
using
to
them.
pads, because for the longest time I remember growing up like in intermediate, like maybe fifth grade, sixth
Mhm.
grade, because
Yeah.
we were like 10 when we had our period.
Yeah.
I was so uncomfortable with the pad on,
Yeah.
and we wore uniforms,
So you can see the
so
imprint
you
of
had
the
like
pad.
khaki pants, and then
You can
like,
see it.
it was
Yeah.
not cute.
No, it was like it
Yeah.
felt like a pamper.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why I would always like try to get the thin ones, but I was
Yes.
like, okay, this is so inconvenient.
Yeah.
So tampons
Yeah.
were a lifesaver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for that very brief but very helpful
You're
tutorial.
welcome. Again, a mother has to do what a mother has to do, and if that means, hey, let me show y'all how to manually actually do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of just
I mean,
saying it.
I have to
Yeah.
give you a actual tutorial
Yeah.
on how to actually properly use this.
Mhm.
Then that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
But it's to me, it's very key and important to have that open line of communication with your children. And I mean, if they can't come to you and confide in you in any and everything, then who can they go to?
Yeah.
So that's very important
Mhm.
for moms and daughters to have that bond that's strong enough to actually be able to go in the room and say, okay, hey, we're gonna do this together.
Yeah, I like how it was like a group thing though.
Yeah.
It made it easier.
Yeah.
So that just shows you how comfortable we were with talking to her about anything. Like she said earlier, like she gave us that open line of communication. So that's why it was that easy for us to just decide, let's ask Mama how to
It
put
wasn't
this
a big,
tampon on.
yeah, it wasn't a big deal for us to ask
Ask
her.
her?
We were just nervous
Yeah, we was just nervous
Yeah.
about
ourselves
the whole
about
tampon
putting them on.
situation.
Okay, so now we're just going to talk about some myths and facts that you guys may or may not know about tampons. Okay, so the first myth is that tampons are not appropriate for younger girls. And the fact to that myth is that there are no rules when it comes to when or when not to use a tampon. I personally think it just depends on your parent and when you actually start your period, and also how comfortable you are with your body at that time. But it is okay to start with the pads so that you can get more comfortable with your body and then kind of ease yourself into using tampons.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree with that too.
Because we were way too young, I think, to be using tampons.
Yes.
Because she was 9, I was 10. So I felt like you said, we became more comfortable with our bodies and learning our bodies more was the time that we, wanted to start using them. Because we decided when we wanted to start using them.
You made the choice.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Y'all did.
Also, another myth that a lot of people think is that using a tampon means that you're no longer a virgin, and that is completely false. It has nothing to do with your virginity. Using a tampon is completely fine if you're a virgin. A tampon cannot take your virginity.
No.
Okay?
No. Ever. So the next myth is that tampons are uncomfortable. And the fact to that myth is that tampons are perfectly comfortable when inserted the correct way.
And if they are uncomfortable to you, I recommend using a lighter absorbency, so to get like the smaller ones. And you might be using the wrong size depending on how heavy you are during that time in your cycle. Tampax has a variety pack that I always get because you just never know how heavy or light your period's going to be.
And also becoming comfortable and knowing your body.
Yeah.
That's very important.
Yes. The more comfortable you are with your body, the easier it is to insert it without even really thinking about it.
So the next myth is that you cannot wear tampons overnight. And the fact to that is wearing tampons overnight is totally fine. You can wear tampons for up to 8 hours no matter what you're doing, even if it's sleeping. Just make sure you put it on right before you go to bed and take it out right when you get up in the morning.
And the very last myth is that tampons are full of toxic chemicals. And the fact to that is that the ingredients in Tampax tampons are totally safe when used correctly. And before any Tampax product hits the shelves, it is carefully evaluated and tested to ensure that it meets the strict quality and safety standards.
So that is it for this tampon talk. We hope you guys enjoyed it and found it informative, and we encourage you guys to help us educate on tampon usage. And if you're still not satisfied with using pads, then we recommend that you upgrade to Tampax.